Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Personnel Board. Members present. Nancy is on Zoom. Katie taking our minutes. Dennis is on Zoom. Tracy Vasili is here. Obviously, I am. Scott is here. And our Assistant Town Manager, Mike Johnson. But the first thing we want to do is review and approve minutes. Has everyone read the minutes?
Yes. If everyone's okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting on December 7th, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Scott. Any questions, any discussion? Okay. All in favor? Scott, aye. Gary, aye.
Tracy, aye.
Dennis, aye.
Nancy, aye.
Thank you. All right. Mike, do you want to lead us off in the discussion, please?
You bet. So there are some changes coming to the recreation summer program this year. And in reviewing where we are to kick it off, we started with a review of pay plans. And this pay plan is due to be updated. It's been a little while. And we have, it's been a couple of years since we've actually hired lifeguards. And that was our first concern. That's one that's always very competitive. Lifeguards and counselors, month and a half from now, are going to be tough to find. So we've got them advertised already, and we'll be putting the wages on these as soon as, if they're approved this evening. So doing an analysis, we looked at some of the surrounding towns, and the towns we looked at as far as comparables, board members, you have these in front of you. Norwood, FY23 rates, Walpole, FY22 rates, which was their most recent, Westwood's FY23 rates, a couple of positions for Norfolk's FY23, and a couple others that I was just able to pick up that you won't have in front of you for Dennis and Nancy, but I'll read through them. That's Brookline, FY23, Sharon, FY23, and Randolph 23. The biggest changes that I'm proposing, along with consultation from our Recreation Division Director and the Director of Human Services, and that's Renee Tochi and Mark Craig. The biggest changes we're recommending are at the counselor and lifeguard level, and that's to get us competitive. So that's rec leaders, also called counselors, the lifeguard, water safety instructor, and here, it's one and the same. Some towns split them out as two separate positions. We're looking to hire lifeguards with the WSI certification, and then the head counselors. Those are the big ones, as well as camp director. We really call that a program coordinator, because ours isn't officially called a camp, it's called a summer program, but people around town do refer to it as a camp. But those are the big ones, and also playground supervisor. So in those, we're looking to go up about $2 an hour on those positions that I just mentioned, because we're behind the competition. Now, I will say that some of the rates have been, and even if this plan is approved, some of the rates still will be below Massachusetts minimum wage, and municipalities are exempt from minimum wage. So that's not a concern. My concern, though, is that we're competitive, able to hire the people that we need to staff and run a great program this summer. Some of the other positions that we're also looking to raise are junior counselors, which are called rec assistants. That's at 25 cents an hour, and then going up from that for each following year. And That's really it. Our specialized instructors and instructional assistants, those are staying at the same rates that they have been in the past. We think those are competitive, and in talking with Mark and Renee, they're looking at doing something a little different in future years to maybe consolidate those a little better into the pay plan. So we don't think those need to be changed at all. So
So all new hires will start at step one.
that's correct, if they're not returning for the, for a second. Yeah.
What
That's-
if they're returning?
If they're returning, then my understanding is that, that they'll go, the second year they return, they'll come on to step two.
Okay.
Third year, step three.
And what is on head counselor on the Foxborough Old? What is 1475 plus? There's an R?
Oh, in that cell, that's where I tried to slide in a formula, and
No worries, I
it
just
should
didn't
have
know what
been,
it was.
it should have been $14.75, not a plus, which makes it into a formula in an Excel spreadsheet.
Right.
Oh, good catch, and good eyes, better
No,
than mine.
I didn't know if there was like, they get like expenses or something.
Yeah. So.
Expense account, yeah.
Yeah, so all I included on ours were the step one and step four. There are 4 steps in it, and it's similar in these other towns. And so and on those, I just put minimum, maximum. And, so for example, a junior counselor, step one, currently we're at $12.75. That's where we were last year, and we're looking to raise that a little bit up to $13. For a counselor, we're looking to raise this. This is one of the substantial ones I talked about, from step one at $13.25 an hour up to $15.50 an hour. Lifeguard WSI from $13.75 an hour at step one up to $16 an hour. And head counselor from $14.75 up to $17.50. Now, our program coordinators, which are our directors, and playground supervisors are paid at the same rate. And those ones at step one, I'm proposing going from $15.75 up to $19 an hour. And as I mentioned, the instructors, those are staying at the same rate. At the bottom of your spreadsheet, you'll see 2 other plans that I'm working on. Those are not to be voted tonight. That's the DPW seasonal laborer and library page. So those are a couple that I'm considering that we may want to increase, but the library page we had increased more recently than the recreation or the DPW position. Again, not to be discussed or voted this evening, but it's part of the analysis that I'm doing.
All of these are no benefits, correct? They're all seasonal?
Correct.
Temporary.
So these are all seasonal positions, and what we do each year at, actually right now in February, is we put into the state a seasonal certification, which approves these positions as being, a 10-week or 12-week position, what have you, so that, one, we're not paying benefits, and two, they're not eligible for unemployment at the end of the season. So that's already in process.
Is there the range excluding the ones that didn't move and the junior counselor? The increases are 2.25 up to 3.25, but the junior counselor only went up 25 cents, and it actually still seems a bit low. Is there a reason you didn't go higher on that one, Mike?
Just looking at where some of the other towns were, like Walpole and Randolph and Westwood, it looked like we were in pretty good shape there. There were a couple that were higher, and that's something that we certainly could look at. But in talking with Mark and Renee, they felt like this was a competitive range for those
Okay.
positions. So they weren't concerned with attracting folks into those positions. And those are people that we're looking to bring on first year, get trained, get acclimated to the program, and hopefully develop into counselors in
These are
future
usually
years.
teenagers.
Yes.
Counselor in training.
Yeah, basically, that's
Okay.
exactly what it is, counselor in training.
Do we, obviously, the
Yeah,
law,
Hey, Mike, The playground coordinator slash director position and the supervisor, they're paid the same?
Yes,
Am I
yes,
reading that right?
yes, that's correct.
Why is that? That doesn't seem, they don't seem like equal positions. Is that what you're thinking, Nancy?
Yeah, it just kind of struck me.
They're actually looking at some interesting ways of rolling out programs, and there may be some overlap there in using some people to, to dual role.
Something you may want to consider, because a playground supervisor and a program coordinator or director, it seems very different levels. You may want to, if there's going to be some overlap in creativity, you may want to think about renaming playground supervisor.
Okay.
Coming up with one title.
Well, even if you need more than one title, but it should be a title that's of equal standing.
I see what you're saying, yeah, because director and supervisor certainly sound different.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of, it just looked out of whack.
So Mike, this is Dennis. I don't have the comparables, not being at the meeting. Is it your view that comparably, these rates would be very competitive with surrounding towns, particularly contiguous towns?
Yes, they are. And, if we were to roll out the programs with the current pay chart that we have, we'd be behind. And we would struggle, I believe, to attract especially lifeguards and counselors. With what we're proposing on the first couple of columns, that makes us competitive. So I believe, as do the Recreation and Human Services Director, that we're going to be competitive in three ways. One is with our rates. Two is with our programs and offerings this year. And three is the time that we're rolling them out. We're trying to get them out ahead of other towns.
How do we compare, and I know it's municipality versus non-municipality, but do you have any sense of how these compare with the YMCA?
I actually asked Mark that question, and he felt they were comparable.
Okay.
And then I went and looked at some jobs that were advertised at different YMCA's around the area, and these are comparable.
Okay.
What we have, our current rates are not. We're behind.
Okay.
So we're not getting ahead of them, but we want to be right there with them.
And getting them out early will give us an advantage, getting the job postings out early.
Well, you would think so, but the next day after ours got posted, there's one up. So there's some good, healthy competition going on there.
Starting already, yeah.
Right.
How does the YMCA, or do we have any connection with the YMCA when it comes to lifeguards? They used to with rec department, the YMCA used to hire them for us, coordinate them or something.
I don't know that. I actually don't have that answer.
Pool first opened, I think the Y did the hiring.
I don't remember
The
that.
training, maybe hiring?
If I had to guess,
They
I
work
would
for
say
us.
probably the training, because most of your lifeguards around are going to get trained and certified at either a YMCA or one of the college pools where they run a program for it. So that may be, as far as the other part of that, are they doing the hiring? I don't know that. I kind of can't.
Originally, they were almost assigning it
Okay.
to a lifeguard. I could be
the
wrong,
one-
but that was at the
well,
beginning.
Yeah, the concern that I would have there is lack of management control. They wouldn't be in that instance, they wouldn't be our employees technically. And so that leaves.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that that's the way it worked. But I know the Y was very involved with our lifeguards. When we first got the pool and got it up and running, they were very involved with it. And I'm not sure exactly the extent of
Yeah,
it.
I don't know.
No, I will say that the pool has not been open in 2 years. And, for obvious reasons, the COVID and the just not being able to do it for health reasons, which presents some challenges because the pool already needed some maintenance. And then each year you don't open a pool, that multiplies. So we know that it needs some repair, and we plan on addressing that. And in early discussions on priorities of use of ARPA infrastructure money, we're looking at using a little bit of money there. And we don't know if we think it's going to be somewhere in the $25,000 to $50,000 range to, to get it back up and running clean and open to the public. And then they've also talked about also the surroundings. The area may be a little bit, but that wouldn't be nearly as expensive, but make it really an
That's all
attractive
going to
program.
be paid, most of it out of the revolving funds.
So, well, the upgrades to the pool, we may be able to do that out of ARPA funds. And then, but then as far as, mulch and things around the area, yeah, that would come out of recreation. And
Is,
then-
is the lot paved? I think that's what Gary was asking. Is the lot on Mill Street paved now? Or is it going to be? Is that what you were
That's
asking?
not what I was asking. but-
Okay. Is it paved, though?
If that's your question, I don't know the answer.
Okay.
It's last time I was there, it was gravel.
Okay. I thought we had talked about paving it.
Yeah, it could be. It's been a while since I
Okay.
lived down that end of town. One of the things that's important to point out, and you just made me think of it, is that, for those hundreds and thousands of people that are watching this from home, it's important to point out that these wages are all paid out of revolving funds, as Gary pointed out. So this is a self-sustaining program, and, the funds generated from the registration fees pay the wages, pay the upkeep, and as well as some money, that will be left over, profit, if you will, to seed the programs, through the winter and into the next year. And Mark and Renee have done a nice job of providing a profit and loss and, where the revenues are coming from. And Scott asked a good question, and that was, with the wages going up, does that mean that the program registration costs are going to go up? And I don't think he was so much concerned about that. His bigger question was, could it detract people from registering for the programs that maybe had done it in the past or who might want to do it this year? And my answer to that was no. One, yes, the fees are going up, but two, it should not be a detractant to people who want to either continue to participate or be a first-time, family participating. And the reason is that with the fees going up, it's including more programs. So in the past, you register for the main program, and then you want to go and do this event or go on this field trip, whatever. Those are extras. This year, it's, there's a higher registration fee, not substantially higher, but it's going to be all-inclusive of all the programs that a child or a family wants to participate
Great.
in. So it's kind of a nice way of rolling it out, I thought.
Yeah, that's a nice change. Yep.
So Mike, just another question. I think I know the answer, but these are all part-time, non-benefit employees, and you'll have appropriate withholdings, federal, state, FICA, et cetera.
That is correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think it's reasonable. I think you've put together, it's a well-thought-out change. I think the comparables confirm that. I think it will make us competitive. I love the idea that there's not those ad hoc charges now for the families. And I mean, I think everyone expects somewhat of an increase to attend camp year over year, as long as it's not substantial and, as Scott said, detracts from it. I think this is completely reasonable. I don't know how anyone else feels.
Yeah, I think it's in line, and I mean, inflation's high, and it's hard to hire people these days, so
Yeah.
I mean, you need to make some
think it's
increases just to
necessary.
attract employees.
Definitely necessary to get the quality people.
No,
I'm
well,
just curious, how many people get hired into each position? I mean, I realize that some of them is just one person, but are some of them, you're hiring several people?
yes, they are, and I can tell you that. So, let's see here. Now, I'm looking through Mark and Renee's spreadsheets here. And by the way, while I'd love to take credit for this work, the only thing I did was the comparables. They actually put together this pay chart and the P&L and the plan. And my independent comparables came up with the numbers, supported the numbers that they supplied. So it was nice. They did it, and then independently I did it, and we come up with the right thing. But reading off of this spreadsheet, if I'm reading this correctly, one director 2 head counselors, 20 counselors, 2 junior counselors, 1 lead lifeguard, 4 more lifeguards, 1 pool gate attendant. And I will tell you, that's a position that they've rolled into one of the other positions. They're looking to change that a little bit. So that's the staffing. So
So what are we paying a lead lifeguard?
$19 an hour.
Okay,
So
that's not on here.
Probably no, that's no change probably, which is why it's not on here.
Yeah, I think you need to add another row, Mike,
You're correct.
because, or put them in with the program coordinator and whatever you change the playground supervisor to.
Good catch, thank you.
Oh, that was all Nancy.
And that may just be the name that you use for the playground supervisor, because I don't think you had anyone else in that role.
Yeah, and that's where they've tried to consolidate a couple of positions. I'll check that with Mark and Renee.
Anything else? Nancy, Dennis?
No, I think these are important positions. If you're going to entrust children with these people during the course of their activities, then you really want competent and capable people. And you're not going to get them without being competitive with your wages to really attract capable, competent people.
Well said.
One interesting point is we do have, as I mentioned, some of these positions already advertised, and out of the 3 positions that we advertised, we've had 1 applicant. Now, I would say, once we put the wages up there, I think we'll start getting some applications. You know, people, and I found that in general, people want to know what the salaries or wages are that they're applying for, unless it's, you know, a very specialized, high-level position. So I think once we put that up there, and you know, granted, it's early. Some of these
Still
folks,
early, yeah.
they aren't looking at jobs yet, they aren't thinking about it, but I do think we'll start getting some applications coming in through Human Resources, and then we'll work with the Recreation and Human Services staff to start doing interviews and hiring.
Yeah, and I think making sure, like, we use the appropriate social media to communicate the openings, Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok, I guess that's what they call these days.
Katie will take care of that for us.
Yeah, Katie's been on top of that and done a great job. I don't even know if I got the names right, Katie.
We don't have a town.
You did, but I'm not the TikTok queen over here. I can do Instagram, but that's probably all I'm good for.
We can make a TikTok together, come on.
Yeah.
So Christina is our communications specialist, and it's a longer title than that, but so she handles all those things, and she works with Kate, who is our human resources specialist, and the 2 of them post these things out. We don't have a town TikTok account, but we do have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just don't ask me how to access them.
Don't look at me either.
I can help with Snapchat.
Scott, do you have anything to add? Tracy, are you all set?
No, I think I'm good. Are you, Dennis and Nancy, you good?
Yep, well said.
We can't hear you, Dennis.
Nice job all around. I'm all set.
Okay,
You want a motion?
I'll accept the motion.
I make a motion to approve the new pay rates for the positions discussed within the rec department.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second,
Dennis, second?
yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Scott,
Dennis,
aye. Gary, aye.
Tracy, aye.
Nancy, I.
Nancy, aye. Dennis, aye.
Aye, yes, aye.
Thank you.
Great job with this, Mike, and please thank Mark and
Yeah, they did a good job.
Renee,
Renee. They did a fabulous
I
job.
will, since they did all the work on it.
Anything else you'd like to discuss, Mike, or are we good?
No, I think that's it for the time being. I think probably in a couple months, I'll come back with a couple of policy reviews for you.
Sure. Are we gonna have to get together about the DPW seasonal labor library page beforehand? Or can we do that
We can
then?
probably do that at the same time.
Okay.
So I talked with Chris Gallagher, the DPW director, to ask him if he was planning on hiring, seasonal staff. And he is, but he said he's not at that point yet, but we'll talk about that, look at that, those wages and come back to see you with that.
Okay.
And then library page, as I mentioned, we updated that one more recently. I'm not as concerned about that, but I want to make sure that we remain. I mean, we don't have a problem filling those positions ever. We really don't. We get plenty of applicants and great young people working them, but we still would like to stay competitive.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll accept the motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor of adjournment?
Aye. Tracy, aye.
Tracy, aye. Gary, aye.
Scott, aye.
Scott, aye. Dennis,
Nancy,
aye.
aye.
Nancy, aye. Thank you, everyone.